Greetings from Pinehurst, North Carolina, where I am sequestered for a couple of days. My car broke down, and I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to be here because I have to get it checked out tomorrow. But I had an opportunity while I'm waiting to see what happens to come back to a very special place in my life. And behind me, here in Pinehurst, is a very special hotel that is famous for it being the social spot in town called the Crest Inn. And it had its, glory days back decades before today, but you can see it's the Crest Inn. And this is a very special place to a lot of people because no matter where you came from around the world, or what level of social status you were in, if you came to Pinehurst, you would eventually come to the Crest Inn for the social aspect of meeting strangers from all around the world. And this porch that I'm standing on is a very famous porch because people would come and socialize and meet one another on the Crest Inn porch. Now, this place is special to me for many reasons. One, because when I was a college student at Duke University, the owner of the hotel, who's now gone on to heaven, Bob Barrett, was an adopted father of mine, and he would let me come and stay at the Crest Inn during my summers while I was a college student at Duke. And so it was amazing because back in that day, I could play Pinehurst number 2 for free based on the kind generosity of the manager at the time, who became a friend of mine, and meet people from all over the world. And we would come and have dinner and supper in the restaurant. So it was really quite a spectacular time. But the story I want to share with you is even more meaningful to me because it was right here in room 212 of the Crest Inn where I met God in a personal way. So I was staying in room 212, and I'll never forget, it was like I really hit rock bottom time in my life. I'm going to sit down here for a second. And I found out at the time, I was like a junior in college, that my favorite Catholic priest was in an immoral relationship, and I was very disillusioned and devastated by that. And then I myself was in a wrong relationship that I was also disillusioned about, completely different from, of course, that scenario. And I went to a Christian bookstore one day, and I bought 10 books. I don't even remember what one of them was, but they were more theological in nature. And I just began to read scriptures for myself for the very first time in my life. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, one morning, and God showed up in my room. I don't know how to describe it other than I finally had an understanding of what salvation was. I finally had an understanding that Jesus Christ died on a cross for me, that salvation was a gift, that he completely took my sins upon himself so that I could be free. He paid the penalty for my sins and my sin nature, and that I could exchange my nature for his nature. And that's what it means to be righteous by faith in God. And that all I had to do was accept what he did on the cross for me. Now, I was brought up Catholic and I believed in God, but I didn't know God. And that required an invitation, it required an openness in my heart, it required letting him in. And all I remember saying is, Jesus, I need you. in my heart. Come in my heart. I want to know you in my heart. And I went to bed and I woke up the next morning, and all the pain and heartache from both of those disillusionments, what I felt a godly man should be and also what I should be, just went out the window. I had joy. I had joy in my heart. And I ran downstairs to Bob Barrett. I called him Mr. B at the time. And I grabbed his arm and I said, Mr. B, I've overcome. And he looked at me like I was on drugs or something. I said, I've invited Jesus into my life. And he was like, oh, that's very nice. And that was the very beginning of my walk with God. And also my walk with God in golf. Because Pinehurst is really golf mecca. And to know that the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Father of all fathers, the creator of the universe, would reveal himself to me in room 212 at the Crest Inn, that even God socializes at the Crest Inn, was really an amazing thing. So I just want to encourage you, like, if you're struggling, if you're wanting to know God, if you know that there's more and you need like a heart cleanse, if you need to be put right with God, if you need the assurance of your salvation, you don't have to come to Pinecrest Inn, but know that God socializes wherever you're at, and He will respond to the cry of your heart, and He'll meet you no matter where you're at. And there was no one that witnessed to me. The Father Himself witnessed to me. So I want to encourage you today to make that connection, because if you need joy in your life, if you need a life change, if you need to truly be saved in a real way, that's how it happens. So in the midst of my car breaking down, in the midst of my not even knowing how much longer I'm going to be here, it's been an opportunity for me to come back to where my real spiritual roots began in my walk with the Lord in life, and also through golf at the Pinecrest Inn. So all you got to do is open up the door and let Him in. I hope you have a good day.